Hello, I am Michal B, sitting in Berlin. Next to me is Hannah M. Bruckmüller, sitting in Vienna, and Noa Ginzburg, currently in Tel Aviv. We are the newly established Catchat Collective, and we would now like to take you into a small introduction into Catchat. So let's get to it. I will share my screen, and we shall dive in. Catchat, a translational enterprise of an interspecies poetic exchange at a fictitious museum. We begin with an image showing the inky paws prints left by a curious kitty on a medieval manuscript, which a scholar found by chance after 500 years. A cat was walking around, and on the letters, the trail of their paws intertwined with the text. In a similar manner, we would like to take you into and around poetic exchanges. With a pause on the text, we want to pause on our abstract. Let's read.
This is an interview recorded at the Museum of Modern Art, Department of Eagles, 12 Burgplatz, Düsseldorf.
Announces the interviewer.
Meow, meow,
replies the interviewee. Catchat is a translation, phonetic transcription, and interpretation of Marcel Brotar's Interview with a Cat from 1970 into French, cat, English, German, and Hebrew, accompanied with thoughts about listening or failing to hear, responding or failing to answer, and how languages differ and construct agency. One conversation opens another. The beginning. In 1970, the Belgian artist and former poet Marcel Brotas, born in 1924 and died in 1976, conducted and recorded an interview with a cat. At the time, he was a self-announced director of a fictitious museum, the Musée d'Art Moderne, Département des Aigles, active between 1968 and 1972.
Is that a good painting?
Asks Brotas.
meow,
Replies cat. The art historical discourse mainly focuses on the artist's works, but actually the cat is the main protagonist, the interviewee. A second beginning. From an edited, tape-recorded interview, an online ongoing chat develops. Catchat sets out for deep listening and proceeds to deep reading, to re-listen attentively, aligning the two parties together in a shared script, transcribing the conversation between Brotas and cat and you. Our endeavor is mirrored in its typographic layout, taking the form of a Talmudic page. In its center, the dialogue, phonetically transliterated from utterances in French and cat tongues into Hebrew and Latin letters. It proposes deep reading. The surrounding interpretation and discussion tackle questions of ipseity and anthropocentrism, gender, voice, legibility, and translation. We would now like to take you, dear listeners, through some first steps in collaborating reading. For your orientation, you can view the whole text on the left side of the slide, where we mark the sections we will read for you. Let's start with reading and listening to text on another website, which we quote.
However, we have the magical opportunity to put on headphones and hear the voice of Marcel Brotas himself.
Promises the website of Garage Museum in Moscow that exhibited the piece in the artist retrospective.
Ceci est une interview recueillie au Musée d'Art Moderne Département des Aigles, 12 Burgplatz à Düsseldorf. Ceci est une interview recueillie au Musée d'Art Moderne Département des Aigles, 12 Burgplatz à Düsseldorf.
was she? I always imagined the cat was a he. Noa, any intuitions on your side?
Yeah, it's a he, I've always thought. Something about the big personality and self-esteem, aka big dick energy. Of course, this should not be related to gender. If she's a she, though, that makes it even more layered in terms of the power structures that we see here. By the way, in Hebrew, every cat I meet is a she, a chatula, versus a dog who's always a he, Kelev.
Die Katze, German for she-cat. Der Kater, German for he-cat. Interview mit einem Kater, Interview mit einer Katze. In Chat, Asha. If you are a lazy pronouncer, Katze sounds like Katze. Why is the cat not a specific cat? Why doesn't she, he, it, they have a name? Unknown, anonymous. Rotas uses the cat to make a point, but he doesn't listen. A cat, B cat, D cat, D cat. Now, we want to take you through a part of the Hebrew transcription in the central column. The transcription treats the sound of French as it treats the sound of cat. It transcribes in Hebrew letters what is to be heard. You will now hear Michal reading out loud the Hebrew transcription, Noa reading cat, and I will read the footnotes, and language comes full circle.
Interview with a cat. Aleph. Aleph. Interview with a cat.
Transcribing the text from audible French to Hebrew letters.
The punctuated transcription of a cat's replies into Hebrew and French is written by Noa Ginzburg. Special thanks to Augie and Mies for proof listening.
Interestingly, the title is never heard, only read in English, although the interview takes place in French. And cat. Interview with a cat.
Est-ce que c'est bon tableau celui-là, hein? Qui correspond à ce que vous attendez de cette transformation toute récente qui veut du conceptuel art à cette nouvelle version d'une certaine figuration, pourrait-on dire?
Mau,
Pet.
mau.
If we transcribe the text to Hebrew, how many forms will the meow take? Will we introduce more letters than the 6 letters M, I, E, A, O, W, of which 4 are vowels? In English translation, the transcribers use variations on meow and meow to emphasize how loud and angry the cat sounds.
Meow, 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 meow.
Vous croyez?
Meow, wow, meow, mrau.
Gimel.
Mi,
In Hebrew, at the end of ani, I, is the tiny letter yod, which is in the name of God, that gets attached to the verb in future term that follows and always starts with aleph for first person. So it sounds like the verb starts with yod, although it starts with aleph. Is it the loss of the first person subjectivity?
אני אלך, הוא ילך. אני אלך, אני ילך. ד'
meow,
comma.
In the English transcription of the interview, the cat gets only a few punctuation marks between iterations, whereas Brothers gets periods, proclamation marks, question marks, and even interrobangs. Doesn't the cat, too, speak in sentences?
Hey,
mr,
The cat makes r or r sounds too, reish, in Hebrew, yet the English transcription lacks them.
Deep listening is a term coined and used by composer and artist Pauline Oliveras. It is about practicing listening, quote, with the understanding that the complex waveforms continuously transmitted from the outside world require active engagement with attention, end quote. Oliveras suggests that we try to listen as far as we can, to learn how to expand our perception to include the whole space and time continuum of sound, without losing the attention to details and their complexities. Listening to the interview, I transcribe the sounds. I include all the meows and French, marking them with Hebrew letters. The cat meows are punctuated for perfect pronunciation. The French in Hebrew is not. However, other sounds that give us context are noted with their function and position. I notice what sounds like a siren of an ambulance, but I don't transcribe wee-oo, 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 as I did with the cat meows. I use it as an opportunity to listen as far as I can, to the outside, in the distance, a passing emergency car. Thinking about and with this interview with the cat, we listened to indoor and outdoor spaces, to the cat, and questioned the hierarchies between the species. We challenged the prioritization of a white man talking over another being, and uplift and enjoy the other being, the cat, talking about the man, over the man. This hierarchy between cat and man even become invisible. The cat is not granted any punctuation marks in the previously published English transcription. In our work, the translation, translated and transcribed, cat and man, and their audible articulations are treated as equal as possible.
Our final slide visualizes trails of our deep reading with Hebrew letters, Latin letters, Arabic numbers, and asterisks. We created a quadruple system. Quite like a Talmudic system, we followed strings of thoughts and kept an open discussion. The lines are tracking the dynamics of the conversation. They draw a cartography of our pause and pauses. For a matter of legibility, we split it here into a triptych systemized by Roman numbers. Another conversation opens up, to which we invite you to join. Thank you.